Example 3. Rewrite the following as a single trigonometric expression, then reduce if possible. Okay, so first here I'm given, and you can see all these tangents. And remember that tangent is the same thing as y over x. Psi y, cos x, tangent is y over x. So this is like the sine, this is the cosine. Why do I point that out? Because sine symbol stays the same, which means it stays as minus. Cosine would change. It looks like a plus, but it changed to a minus. This means this is tangent's formula with a subtraction. This is the sum or difference, but it's coming from the difference of tangent 78 minus 18 degrees. Now, how could I prove that to you? Is we'll go back to the front of the lesson where we had that formula given to us right here, and we'll see that it is in fact tangent whenever you subtract an angle, a from b, a minus b rather, you'd have tangent of a minus tangent of b on top, and down below would be 1 divided by tangent a times tangent b. So we'll now jump right back to where we were, which is right here, and see the formula, subtraction, 1 plus multiplication. This is the formula. So we could reduce this and say this is the same thing as tangent 60 degrees. Now, do we have a hand trick for 60 degrees? We do. So I'm going to consult the hand trick here. I'm looking at my hand. 60 degrees would be my pointer finger. So remember, your hand represents the first quadrant. Your pinky is your x-axis. Your thumb is your y-axis. I'm bending my pointer finger, my index finger, and I flip my hand. I have 3 fingers on top of the bend, so it's square root of 3 divided by the 1 finger down below, and that would just simply equal the square root of 3. This is our answer here. Now, if I want to check this, I'm going to type in the original, and so I would go trig tangent of 78, and I'll hit the degree symbol here. Before I forget, I better hit the fraction button. Okay, now let's come back up here. Outside of that tangent, we need to subtract tangent of 18 degrees. And again, all I'm doing right now is I'm checking my work. I'm not going further in the process. I'm just checking to make sure, does this equal each other? Did I make a math error, or am I correct? Am I thinking? And so, one more time, tangent of 18 degrees. And I'm going to hope that this equals square root of 3. It does. Boom, we've done it correctly. Okay, now let's try this next one. Rewrite the following as a single trigonometric expression, then reduce if possible. Notice we have sine cos plus cosine. So they switch. It's not just sine sine. It's not just cos cos. They switch from trig, going from sine to cosine. So let's go back to the formula chart and see which one switches. Again, key on the S. Switches. Which one switches between trig? It's sines. See how cosines, how they say the same here? It's cos cos, sine sine. So sine goes sine cos, but the symbol stays the same. Okay, so that's what we needed to know. So let's jump back over to example 3b. This is a sine formula because it's, there you go, sine cos, cosine. So this is a sine. And sine symbol stays the same. So we're going to add here 7 pi over 12 plus pi over 12, which that would equal sine of 8 pi over 12. And one more time, 8 pi over 12 can reduce. 4 goes into both numbers, so this means that this is sine of 2 pi, because 4 goes into 8 twice, and it goes into 12 3 times. Whoops, not 13, 3 times. This is a hand trick, and since it's almost 1 whole pi, let's look at it on the unit circle real quick. Remember, this is 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and this would also be 2 pi. So here, if we wanted to look at 2 pi over 3, it's almost 1 whole pi. It's just short of it. That means it's in this second quadrant somewhere over here. And so it would actually be higher up like that. But this would be, if we were going to write it down, that would be your 2 pi over 3. And according to the saying, all students take calculus. Sine is positive because the y is positive. Since the y is positive, this is positive here. So we're gonna bend our pi over 3 finger. Now our pi over 3 finger, we count from our thumb. It goes pi over 2. Next one's pi over 3. So I'm bending my pointer finger, my index finger. Flip my hand. I have 3 fingers on top, and the hypotenuse is always 2 because it's a total of 4 fingers. Square root of that is 2. This should be my answer here. Now again, let's check our work. So if we go trig, sine, I'm just going to pause the video and type this in. The one thing I am going to add in though real quick is don't forget to put the radian symbol, which is the R, on the pi's whenever you type that in. So that's very key. If you want to make sure you get these correct, is to type in, I don't even go off of that. It says it's degree mode. I'm not concerned on that. I just want to keep track of putting in the R's or the degree symbol. So this one needs an R, and I'll continue on. Okay, I've typed it all in, so I'm going to press enter. That's my value. I'm going to hope that this is the same thing as square root of 3 over 2. And it is, so we've done it correctly.